Welcome to another flight adventure. I'm currently on my way to the Bole airport where I'll board the largest African airline, Ethiopian Airlines. Today I will fly them in business class from here in Dubai to their hub in Addis Ababa before heading on to Milan and Zurich. The Milan-Zurich flight is a 5th Freedom flight and you can also book it separately. After checking in, I made my way to Terminal 1's Concourse D by using the connecting train between the buildings. I checked in online, but I wanted to have the boarding passes printed because I like to collect them. So I went to the check-in desk and there were like only a few people really, but these people had like lots and lots of luggage, like 5 trolleys for a family or something. Anyway, we're here now through immigration and security. Now I'm heading up to the lounge. Let's see how that looks like. Ethiopian Airlines uses the Milan Business Class lounge, which is run by the Dubai International Hotel. It is a spacious lounge that offers plenty of seating arranged in different rooms. At the end of the hallway, there's a bar where the staff can mix you several different cocktails. And a big shout out to the staff here who were all really friendly and proactive. The food buffet is really great as well. They had a huge range of different dessert options. And also the main courses were pretty decent. This lounge is great, they have everything. They have really good food, like good desserts, good selection of fruit, and they have a good bar. They can mix your cocktails, and they have fresh orange juice. This is a very, very decent business class lounge. Just got a Long Island iced tea here, fresh orange juice, some dessert, some curry, and a pizza margarita. About an hour later, I made my way to the gate. In the gate area now, gate D6, Delta 6 it is. Just waiting for the aircraft to arrive. They just started their descent on the way from Addis to here, so should be landing in about 25-30 minutes, and then I hope I can get some footage of the aircraft arriving. I just checked Expert Flyer, and for my flight from Dubai to Addis there are only 4 seats taken in business class. From, I think they have 30 business class seats. And on my side, like on the right side, there isn't even anyone else. Like I'm the only one on that side. Just checked economy class as well, and in economy class only like half of the seats are taken. So yeah, it's not a very full flight. I continued plane spotting outside, and then Ethiopian's A350 finally pulled up to the gate. Ethiopian is by far the largest A350 operator in Africa, with 20 of them in active service at the time of recording. My ride to Addis today would be the still young Yankee Alpha. Boarding was slightly delayed, but then I finally made my way through the jet bridge to the empty business class cabin. The cabin on this version of the A350 came in a stagger 30-seat 1-to-1 configuration, with some seats on the edge being closer to the window and some closer to the aisle. A pretty standard business class these days and very comfortable. At your seat you will find a blanket as well as a pillow. The tray table comes out by pushing here. You can also turn it and push it away from you again. Let's have a closer look at the amenity kit. Inside I found a pen, earplugs, a mask, eye shades, socks, toothbrush, hand sanitizer, toothpaste, a comb, and lip balm. I thought the amount in the amenity kit was fairly decent. During the safety video, the crew stood guard in front of the cabin and really made sure that everyone watched the safety video and was not distracted by filming out the window or something. Yeah, that goes to me.
Ethiopian Airlines always gives priority for the safety of its customers.
Bags must not be placed on the aisles or next to an exit.
Pushback was almost half an hour late, but I didn't care since I had a long connection time in Addis anyway.
Set your mobile phone to flight mode.
While we are taxiing out to the runway, let's quickly check the IFE. It is not the most responsive screen, but you quickly find what you need on the start page. First I wanted to check if they have outside cameras on this aircraft. Unfortunately, they didn't. In the movie section you find a selection of different movies. When flying flag carriers like this, I'm always curious to check out some of the local movies of that country or region, but unfortunately the selection was a bit limited here. Interestingly, they had lots of Asian movies. And this makes sense to some degree given that Ethiopian flies to a number of East Asian destinations, especially in China. They did have some blockbusters as well, but the selection was not as big as on other major airlines. In the TV section you find a lot of documentaries on Ethiopia, a country I would like to visit one day. So far I have only ever connected through Addis, but I've never been to the country itself. As we continued our climb southwest of Dubai, a light in the distance caught my attention. This is a solar park where the sunlight is bundled and reflected onto solar panels in a concentrated way. Let's have a look at today's menu. They listed the menu for the whole rotation in the same booklet, so let's jump to the Dubai to Addis leg. There was a choice between chicken, fish and a vegetable dish, all of which sounded quite nice. As for the non-alcoholic drinks, the selection was rather standard with the exception of the world-famous Ethiopian coffee. Ethiopia is really proud of its coffee. The wine list was actually quite extensive, with a good selection of Ethiopian and South African wines. There were also some cocktails on the menu. Before the food comes around, let's check out the headphones real quick. Unfortunately, they seemed very worn out. You could see marks here and there and everything felt kinda loose. Definitely not the quality one would expect in business class. I don't know how often Ethiopian replaces them, but this one should be replaced soon. On a better note, let's look at the meal service. Only 20 minutes after takeoff, the starter was served. The presentation could have been better, but it tasted delicious. The chicken for the main course was presented much better and tasted absolutely fabulous. Along with the main course, I had a glass of Ethiopian red wine, which also tasted quite good. For some reason, the crew had then lowered almost all of the window blinds, so I had to have my dessert in the dark. It was a chocolate cake, which was a nice roundup of the meal. There is Wi-Fi on board as well. You can get a full flight pass for $25 a 1-hour pass for $5 and a 2-hour pass for $9. They also have a coverage map and I wondered why India, of all places, was grayed out here. As the sun set outside, we crossed Somalia and would soon enter Ethiopian airspace with only 1 hour of flight remaining. On approach, we circled around the mountains and then headed for the airport.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Guest descent at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Bole International Airport.
Deboarding was quick and I made my way to the transfer security, which was absolutely packed. After security, I found myself in a very busy airport terminal. Ethiopian has a lot of connecting flights and a lot of people are transferring at the same time. I really wasn't feeling any desire to stay out here and went straight to the Cloud9 lounge. Right by the lounge entrance you find a space for the traditional coffee ceremony. After that you pass a seating area which was empty at that time. There are also showers and I decided to have one before the next flight. At first glance they look very nice, but then you realize the cracks in the door, the crumbling wall which also had a lot of stains and markings and some dirt here and there. It could really use some maintenance. On the upside, the food in this lounge was fantastic, even though they had only plastic spoons for some reason. But the variety of the different curries and Ethiopian dishes was absolutely stunning, some of them being really spicy. They even had the famous Ethiopian injera bread. I was actually still full from the previous flight, but I just couldn't resist all these delicious options. After finishing the meal, I still had some hours before the flight, so I settled down in the quiet area. A couple of hours later, I left the lounge and headed for gate A12. Gate A12 is not a real gate, but rather a central point across the lounge where business class passengers and Starlines gold holders are picked up by buses taking them to the aircraft. This conveniently eliminates the need to check if your gate has changed. Surprise, surprise. They changed the aircraft for Milan and Zurich as well. The business class. So it is now, in fact, the old business class, the 222 configuration. Ethiopian Airlines, they do this a lot. They change aircraft around a lot. So if you're planning to fly on a certain product, like either the new or old business class, don't rely on that. And I checked in the app, they assigned me an aisle seat, unfortunately, one Juliet. Not as nice for a night flight, because like in the new configuration, at least in the window seat, you're kind of tucked away and it's like better for sleeping. In the 222, it's like a bit more open. So I just went to that business class gate and asked the lady if she can change my seat again to 3L. She did that in like 30 seconds, so that was great service. So I have a window seat again. Woo! A couple of minutes later, boarding started and an elevator took the passengers down to the special business class buses. They are reasonably comfortable and took the passengers across the large apron to the aircraft. When we arrived at the aircraft, we had to wait for other passengers who had boarded through the regular gate and were actually ahead of us. Then it was time to board this 3.5-year-old Airbus A350 that would take me to Zurich via Milan. Welcome aboard the old business class of Ethiopian Airlines, the 222 configuration. It's actually very spacious, didn't remember it like that. The seat is actually quite comfortable. I would even say more comfortable than on the first flight from Dubai. It's just a little bit open here, a little bit exposed, but at least there's no one next to me. And what do we have? We have the IFE, we have the amenity kit, bottle of water, the seat controls, which are actually more extensive than in the new business class. And they also just serve the pre-departure drinks with a choice of champagne or orange juice or just water. And right after that they sprayed the cabin with disinfection spray, I think. Yeah, so we're good to go. Airborne out of Addis. Smooth takeoff. Couldn't see much out the window, unfortunately, because it's dark. Anyway, the crew handed out the menu before takeoff, and I noticed there's actually no breakfast service, like no real one on this flight. The main meal is actually the dinner, or like a night meal or something. Let's check out how the headphones on this flight compare to the last flight. I couldn't see any defects on these ones, and in general they looked fine. Now coming to the menu. As mentioned earlier, there is no breakfast service on this flight. For starters, they had chicken nuggets and prawns. For the main course, they had a choice between chicken and fish. Since I had the chicken on the flight from Dubai, I opted for the fish on this one. And if you're keen to learn about teff, which is used to make the injera bread, you have some information on that too. Ethiopian offers an express menu option where you can have all courses at once, allowing you to maximize your sleeping time. For the second service in the morning, they apparently offered some pastries, but for some reason I actually never got to see them. The crew also handed out these stickers, which you can attach to your seat so that the crew knows whether to wake you up or not. Shortly after, my express meal arrived. It was nicely presented and the fish came with a side of kale and some pasta. Along with that, I had a strawberry mousse cake and a salad. It all tasted quite good, but I really couldn't finish all of it, about which the crew seemed kind of disappointed. But I was so full, the only thing I could do was to go to sleep. In the morning, I woke up to the sunrise over Croatia. Good morning from the north of Italy, just about to start our descent in about 5 to 10 minutes. It was a very calm flight, got a good night's sleep. The seat was very comfortable, like together with a blanket. Also the crew came around and offered tea and coffee, but none of these breakfast pastries sort of thing. Soon we started our descent from 40,000 feet and began a smooth approach into Milan in the cloudless skies. And welcome to Milan, where my whole trip had started on Turkish Airlines just 1.5 weeks ago. But with all the airlines I had flown in the meantime, I sadly realized that I didn't have much memory left on my SD cards, so I could only take a few pictures on the next leg to Zurich. It was a short, uneventful flight over the beautiful Alps. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos to come. Until then, enjoy your travels.